call Annie Pillars, Whitman County Coroner.
Afternoon, this is Annie Pillars.
Hi, Annie. I saw your number on the Whitman County Coroner website. I was just wondering about how your job works.
Well, in what capacity are you thinking?
Well, I was just wondering, like, I saw, it was a video on YouTube that was it might have been a town hall thing or a police advisory meeting, but one of those things at they filmed down there on, Paradise Street in Pullman.
Yeah, at Pullman PD. Right. Yeah, so I would have spoke probably to their police advisory committee maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I think it was where they hold the city, I think it was the city hall meetings, or that one
I
room.
think it is where their council might have met. Exactly.
I,
Yeah.
I was wondering,
Go ahead.
so I was wondering, like, so a coroner doesn't, you said a coroner doesn't do autopsies, but that someone in Seattle does autopsies?
So, to do a forensic autopsy in the state of Washington, it's advised and common practice to use a forensic pathologist. And so that's what we do here in Whitman County is we have a forensic pathologist. We've got a couple that we use, one, more regular just because he's available for us. But we use a forensic pathologist to do the actual autopsy, and then I'm assisting at those with taking pictures or whatever else that the pathologist might need, but they're performing the autopsy.
Okay. So, but you're able to determine the cause of death in many cases without an autopsy, right?
Most cases in the United States, deaths are not, it doesn't require an autopsy to determine cause and manner.
How is it like, how can a coroner determine how someone died without an autopsy for something like a heart attack?
So there's a great question. There's a combination of things that go into death investigation. There's the initial scene investigation, what you see on scene, the position the person was found in, what their condition of their body is, history from people that know them. Maybe there was family present, how they have been over the last weeks and months and days. And then there is medical information in terms of what their medical history is, medications that they're taking, or sometimes medications that they're not taking. They had a medication and they're not taking it, because you can do really well, but if you don't take a medication, you cannot do well, and if you overtake a medication, sometimes you cannot do well. So, their medical history, their medications that they're taking, and then the condition of that person. Are they very, very, very thin? Are they very, very large? So it's a combination of all that, plus what we call the forensic external examination when we're looking at that person. So, for example, you talked about a heart condition. It's not uncommon if a person has a heart condition that you would see what we'll call edema. That would be like swelling. It's often called pedal edema or lower extremity edema. If a person has, for example, congestive heart failure, you're going to see swelling in the lower leg sometimes. That's an indicator that they have cardiac problems. So it's not just one thing, it's quite the combination of things to determine cause and manner.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot goes into it.
It's wonderful work. It's absolutely privileged work, I have to tell you. Families are just looking for answers, aren't they? They just want to know what happened to the person that they loved. And it's a privilege to be able to work beside families and get them the answers that they need.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. Are you interested in this kind of work at some point, or what are you thinking about?
no, I was just wondering because I was confused as to like how if a coroner doesn't do the autopsy, then how do they know so much? But it sounds like there's a lot of investigative work, and then when a coroner makes the decision, like with the football player Beekman, I had read the conclusion, and I mean it seems when the statements go out, they're relatively brief as to this. It was two drugs found in his system, and that's but I suppose that's a little easier than a heart attack because there could be like a blood draw or some kind of analysis without an
Yes,
autopsy.
and I didn't even mention that, so I'm really glad that you said that. Thank you for making me think of that. When depending on the medications a person is taking, or if it's unclear about medications, we do what's called toxicology, and that gives us a lot of information as well. That talks about medication levels, or again, if a person doesn't have a medicine that they would normally be taking. But the toxicology is another really good resource in determining um, scientifically what are those conditions that led to that death. Yes, absolutely.
Oh, okay. Um, so so how long? So the prior coroner who was there for I believe it was like
Oh,
37.
Pete Martin. Yes,
Yeah.
he was a wonderful man. He was 37 years with the office. That's correct. In fact, he was the very first coroner for Whitman County. Great man to work with and follow.
So you were the deputy coroner, and then you were promoted when he retired.
Yes, I have been with the coroner's office since late 2007, early 2008. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, is there a way for a regular person who's not a family member to someone who passed away to obtain like a death certificate or any further like
Death
findings?
certificates, death certificates are public documents in the state of Washington, so a person could get a death certificate. Yeah.
How do I go about getting a death certificate?
You would have to go to the Department of Health, and I don't know whether you'd want to go to the local level or the state level. But let me give you the local department's number for you. I've got to look it up for you real quick here. My computer to pull that up. I'm sorry about that. So if you call 397 that's the local health department. I think there's a charge for death certificates, but they can let you know all that.
Okay. Alrighty. Is past a death certificate, is there any way to obtain like any of the investigation or findings aside from what was given to the news or something? Is there anything at the coroner's office to obtain information past just the death certificate itself?
So all investigations, death investigations in the state of Washington are not public, minus the death certificate and information that goes out, for example, in a press release. That information is protected for family only. It's not something that goes out to the general public.
Okay. Alrighty. I think all right, cool. I think I'll call the number and I'll see if I can find any death certificate information and see if I can obtain a death certificate. Um, all right, cool. Thank you for the info.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Best to you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.